Hello and welcome to Blackhawk TV's broadcast of Prescott versus Baldwin Woodville here at BWHS High School in Baldwin, Wisconsin. I'm Jordan Lehman, calling tonight's games with Jeremy Nygaard. How you doing?
I am awesome. How are you?
Good. So, obviously the first game is going to be a JV contest, 16-minute halves, and we will get started here shortly.
Before we get this game started, just wanted to thank all of our sponsors here at Blackhawk TV. Firehelm Langer, Terman Realty, St. Croix Garage Door, Wisconsin Credit Union, CW Garage Door Distributions, Nielsen's Foods, Strikers Lanes Sports Bar, Flagship Ford, A-Star Concrete, Precision Excavating Enterprises, Precision Truck Service, AmFam, Justin Nygaard Agency, Schaefer Financial Services, Blackhawk Garage Door, Anytime Fitness, The Forge Chiropractic, Pete's Construction, Baldwin Lightstream, Auto Appeal, O'Connell Funeral Homes, Fenner Jewelers, First Bank of Baldwin, Charlotte Heimer with Aflac Insurance, Crystal Orthodontics, TMS Auto, and Village Pharmacy. Thank you, sponsors.
So I'm only guessing, but I believe starting for BW will be Elijah Heimer, number 20.
20.
Evan Klassen, number 23. Ethan Ferndenzer, number 22. Reese Guthrie, number 14. And Ryan Veenendahl. I've only called him Dane between 40 and 50 times in the last 2 years of coaching him in football. My apologies. For Prescott, they're going to run out number 12. That's Lincoln Newman. Number 22, Tobias Ripley. Number 3, Mason Schomer. Number 24, Ian Leask. And 33, Brady Block.
There it is.
So tipping for BW, Reese Guthrie. And Tobias Ripley. Heimer will get it right away. And Mr. Veenendahl set things up for BW. Quick touch in the post to Ferndenzer and a turnover.
Little horns action there from the Cardinals.
And we've got 2 number 12s for Prescott's JV, a Lincoln Newman and a Kyle Kogan. So I'm not sure which one we're...
Kogan also suits for varsity.
Okay. And that's going to be a walk on number 12.
And I would guess because this 12... let me try to figure out these jersey situation. Number 3 is Mason Schomer. He does not wear a varsity jersey. Looks like the other guys do. So this number 12 is Kyle Kogan.
Clausen in the corner. He'll try to get it down to Guthrie. Another turnover for the Hawks. No shot attempts yet for BW. And Block will bring it up. A junior for Prescott.
Looks like the Cardinals are Cardinals JV is led by former player Charlie Tayson.
Mason Schomer with a quick 2 on the baseline as he took it to the basket. That's going to be a blocking foul on Brady Block. So a lot of NBC conference implications tonight. between BW and Prescott on the varsity level. Anything that sticks out to you, Nygaard?
As far as implications, or as far as just the game goes?
Yeah, the game.
I mean, obviously it's early, and we can talk more about this as we get into that game. But I think it's going to be two teams with pretty much opposing strategies.
Sure.
One to speed the game up and try to have as many possessions as possible, and the other team trying to slow the game down and working through a half-court offense. And ultimately, I think the strategy that we see more of is going to be the team that wins.
Right. And we already have seen, a number of post entries, some unsuccessful for BW. As Evan Clausen gets a quick offensive rebound and a quick putback. So Guthrie with one free throw. Clausen with an offensive rebound and a putback gives the Hawks the lead 3-2.
Not the traditional old-fashioned three-point play, but
yeah,
a way to get three, I guess.
Yes, indeed. Coach Ashland, the JV coach for BW. Coach JV here for a long time.
Here we go. We're going to get a lob.
And we're going to
Guthrie. They're going to run the shocker screen, but coming from the wing. And just have the guy in the post kind of vacate, which is different.
So kind of a three-quarter front by Prescott in the post has resulted in 3 quick turnovers for the Hawks as Block takes a 3. It'll be interesting to see how the varsity coaches for Prescott choose to defend some of the post players like Eli Koonin or even a Sean Van Someren tonight for the Hawks. And there's different philosophies around that. You could full front and help on the backside. You can three-quarter front. What are some of the pros and cons of those different kinds of defensive strategies?
Well, if you front, you put a lot of faith in your teammates having you back. I mean, the only way to get the ball in is to lob it. And if the help side guy's not there, it's pretty much an automatic 2 points. If you're a strong defender, I mean, you'll allow if you three-quarters of them, you're not necessarily allowing that pass in there, but the ball will get to the post, and then it's how well you defend. The strategy that's becoming more and more common throughout all levels of basketball is to just play behind them, or kind of not necessarily behind them, but like a three-quarters on the top side, and then double from the baseline to try to get that guy pushed as far away from the basket as possible and then make him get rid of it.
Sure.
And you see really, really good players struggle with how to handle a double team because you have to make that decision so quickly.
Right. There's kind of a timer on you with the ball in your hands before something bad is going to happen. As we're going to get 2 more points for the Hawks as they lead 5-2. BW quick rebound, and Elijah Heimer's going to get the pass. Nobody there on the bounce pass.
Elijah Heimer on Tuesday night of luck in the varsity game. 4-point play.
Really?
Yep. Hit a 3, got knocked down, made the free throw.
Number 22 for Prescott, Tobias Ripley's all by himself under the basket. That's going to be enough to bring the Cardinals within 1. We're just over 3 minutes into this JV first half. Risky pass there from Clausen. Guthrie will gather. And just inside the 3-point line, Mr. Wienendahl, no good.
Yeah, he was long by about 8 inches. If he just would have stayed behind the line, it would have been a 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Probably made it.
Ryan will get the rebound. He'll fire it up to Clausen. Evan's going to go baseline. Open 3 from Elijah Heimer. Good. For the junior as he holds up 3 fingers.
He didn't know if you knew that it was a 3, so he wanted you to see it.
Yeah, he's a nice kid.
And you're his offensive line coach.
Right.
He's just telling you, maybe he's more of a skill guy than a...
And a quick response from either Kyle Kogan or Lincoln Newman.
That's Kyle Kogan.
That's Kyle Kogan?
Yep, I did some sleuthing out with the jersey designs.
So, Mr. Kogan, quick response, nice catch and shoot 3. Entry pass quickly, and that's going to be a foul. Mr. Guthrie's going to go to the line for the 2nd time.
Well, while you're being quiet, I'm going to tell you about CW Garage Door, being your go-to source for the wholesale distribution of high-quality residential and commercial garage doors and their related parts and options. For over 15 years, we have provided exceptional customer service through our personal hands-on approach. Our flexible schedule ensures we will work with you to provide a quick turnaround and prompt delivery. For more information on CW Garage Door Distribution Incorporated, please contact us at 877-684-5125.
Second one good for Guthrie. Hawks 9, Cardinals 7. So number 11, Prescott's going to go baseline right around Ferndenser. He's going to get fouled. He's going to shoot 2.
Yeah, Ferndenser kind of got him from the back. And easy call to make for the officials.
And Ferndenser did a nice job of closing out in the sense of his footwork. However, how close you get to your defender is a very big deal, right? For individuals like myself who, you know, I'm not an elite speed guy. I have to give a little bit more space. I'm sure you were one where you'd kind of put your hand in their pocket. Oops, sorry, take it out, and then
still beat him to his next spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, you know, to be honest, you might have just told him where he's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I was quicker then than I was now.
Right. And
my mouth and my feet.
You enjoyed the conversational aspects of basketball.
I did. I still do. I mean, I wouldn't have a headset on if I didn't.
Right. And we are getting close to a 5, and that's going to be a 5-second call. Coach Ashland encouraging some of his teammates to go help him out when he loses his dribble.
Coach Ashland's favorite thing to say when I played for him was, "Quit turning it over."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I know that we're not going to try to turn the ball over. It's not my fault if the guy didn't catch the pass that I threw to him.
So we've got a couple subs that I forgot to mention. We've got Brody Paul, number 32, and Jackson Johansson, number 10, in for the Hawks. Starter Guthrie going to check in for starter Evan Clausen.
Oh, yeah.
Good defensive block there by Tall Paul, as I like to call him.
Yeah, he's got to be, what, 6'4" at this point?
Sure.
Maybe taller?
Elijah Heimer.
That's all he knows.
He counts by threes.
He
That's
does.
a Middle Border Conference right guard who's going to have 6 points now. And Ryan Viendahl with the steal. He's all by himself. Ooh, a little strong on the layup attempt. Jackson Johansson's going to get it, go up, and there's not going to be a call made.
That's an example of how officiating's difficult.
It is.
I mean, maybe not so much on that one, but
And nice take there by the junior, but no good on the shot as Ripley is strong on the attempt.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
And
get a little big hair action.
Big hair, number 33, going to check in for the Hawks. Reese got 3 from the elbow. In and out. Block is, I don't know if he knew he was going to get the ball. Took one too many steps there. Subs for Prescott, number 3, Mason Schomer back in the game. Number 20, Cullen Huppert. Huppert. Is that a Prescott name? Have I heard that before?
Hooperts are more common than Ellsworth, I think.
Okay.
But Ellsworth and Prescott, you know, just down the road.
Right. Big hair, working position inside. He's going to gather, get it back to Heimer. Heimer's going to put it on the ground. Acrobatic layup attempt, no good. And that is going to go off Tyler Hare. Tyler Hare, a right tackle for the BW football team. Has had to miss a lot of time throughout his high school career with injury as he gets a little knock away there because of some knee surgeries, but it's really good to see him doing what he loves, competing with his buddies.
Yeah.
It's going to be an entry, and he's going to get it to Jackson Johansson.
Good ball movement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Hare's going to collect, and that's going to roll out. Nice little play there for the Hawks. They're still up by 5. 9:20 to go in this first half. Once again, 16-minute halves for JV games. In the varsity contest, it'll be 8. Number 3, Mason Schomer for 3. Number 3 for 3.
We've had Schomers and Baldwin, obviously. There was a Schomer that went through Prescott a handful of years ago that ended up, was he playing at NDSU and then for the Titans?
Yes.
Nick Schomer?
That's a good guess. Driving kick there from block. Back out to Schomer. 3 more for Mason, the sophomore. And that's going to give Prescott the lead, 13-12, is our first timeout at 8:41 in this first half.
Precision Truck Service is a full-service heavy truck and trailer repair shop located in Baldwin and offering all types of general repair for heavy truck and trailer, diesel, mobile service, alignments, computer diagnostics, welding and fabrication and sandblasting. As a Michelin heavy truck tire dealer, we offer best in pricing on Michelin, BFG, and Uniroyal tire brands, balancing and installation. Give us a call at 715-760-0768 or stop in. We're located conveniently on the north side of Baldwin under the water tower.
You know, we've stayed relatively on topic.
Yeah, we have.
For those listening, throughout the season, we will, during JV games, get off topic, because that is how it goes sometimes. For the varsity games, we like to try to stay focused, give a professional broadcast, but you know, sometimes you got to talk about this, that, or the other thing. I think when it really broke through last season was the doubleheader.
The doubleheader of doubleheaders.
Doubleheader of doubleheaders, right?
Yeah.
So we're going through a girls. Did it go girls JV, girls varsity?
Yeah. And
then boys JV, boys varsity.
Yeah.
And we learned that talking objectively about basketball for 4 hours is not good for the brain. Ooh, that's going to be on the ground as Johansson with a strong move.
It wasn't even talking objectively about basketball. It was talking coherently.
Right, talking at all.
Yeah.
You know.
It was tough. We did get some dominoes in here at one point.
We did. We were relieved.
It helped.
Yeah, tonight's going to be a lot of fun. You know, as I mentioned, a lot of conference implications in the sense of, you know, Prescott varsity and BW varsity are two teams that coming into the year they believe that they both have a real shot to win the title. And in our Western Wisconsin Sports podcast that came out earlier this week that you can find on Blackhawk TV, me and Nagar talked about that. But, you know, I expect a pretty full gym tonight. And that's something that last year we didn't get until, you know, the very end, and really never got to that point, you know, other than maybe playoff games that we didn't do a ton of.
Right.
But I'm thinking that, you know, Prescott as a culture of continued success is going to travel well, and hopefully the BW community comes out and supports the Hawks, and it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully a loud building.
Yeah, Friday nights too is
right
in a gym is always a lot of fun. I am not certain.
Yeah, Mr. Kogan, you can light it up. That's 3 more.
The band used to always perform at conference home games, and a little strong. And I'm not sure that we're back to that yet. But that was always, you know, for me playing, for you watching in the old gym, when you'd have the band playing and that place packed and the smell of popcorn, like there wasn't a lot of stuff better than that.
No, that's why I'm here. I mean, that's when Prescott trying to get 3 more. Another offensive rebound nearly. Absolutely. Really good hustle in this possession by Prescott, as Coach Ashland, I'm sure, is not happy with this possession. Kogan's going to release once again, and that's good. And Kyle Kogan making a name for himself. I think that's 3 triples tonight, and I think he might have another deuce. So he's having a good first half as the Prescott lead grows to 10.
Yeah, after that last time out, they've hit 3 threes.
Right.
To go from 1 to 10, and that's, you know, if you can count by threes, you can do it quicker than count by twos. That's simple math.
Right, from just beyond the free throw line. Ferndenser no good. Prescott's going to take another 3. No good, but who's there? Kyle Kogan, and that's going to get on top of the backboard, but ends up with the Hawks. But no, like you mentioned, I mean, the old bar gym, which is my favorite gym that I've ever been in. You know, it's when I was 5 years old, got to witness names like Zach Campbell, Tommy Thompson, Logan Kimberly win a conference title. And I, like you mentioned, the year before you were in there winning a conference title yourself. And it was an atmosphere that is unlike any other, in the same way that Friday Night Lights is unlike any other.
Oh, yeah. Did you get to enjoy any games with the stage open?
Yeah. Yep, because they built that. They filled the stage in when my brother was a senior, I believe, which would have been 2 years after you graduated. So like Nady Nady Borowitz's senior year, I believe that was filled in.
But they always kept the stage closed. But when they had,
sure,
when they expected big crowds.
I believe the home playoff game versus River Falls.
Stage is open.
I believe it was. That was like with That was Jake Kuzlik, Zach Campbell senior year.
Yeah, that was River Falls missed a half-court shot that would have won him the game.
Yep, Jake Kuzlik. I remember after that game going home and shooting in my driveway, pretending I was any number of those guys, and it was a lot of fun. Hopefully this gym tonight can feel a little bit like that. I know they don't, we've talked to Zach Campbell on the podcast before, and he doesn't specifically mention one-on-one after practice with you.
Because he's tried to block it out.
Right.
As has most of those guys. Hey, the less guys that were on the floor, the more room I had to operate.
Right.
10 guys on the floor, it becomes really crowded.
Yep, a lot of tall, strong. So still a 10-point contest. Prescott's grown this lead significantly since BW held an early lead. We've got just under 5 minutes left in the first half of the 16-minute JV game, 60-minute JV half rather. Some hard work going on in the post by Ferndenser. That's going to be a foul, and he's going to get a free throw, maybe two, as that puts BW in the bonus.
You did mention the new jerseys that you can see: Guthrie and Ferndenser, Heimer.
Right.
Little new look for the new season.
No good on the first of the 1-and-1, so no bonus free throw as Kogan's going to bring it up, and he's going to take a baseline fadeaway.
Look at this guy.
And he has the green light, as they say, because he's taking whatever he can get, and he's making a lot of what he gets. So 24-12, the Prescott Cardinals double up the Hawks. 4:22 to go, and we've got
Heimer going deep to join us.
This is what I mean sometimes with JV basketball. It's fun, and
you know who's having fun right now?
Well, I think
Schomer and Kogan.
Schomer and Kogan, yeah, shooting threes, and Prescott also playing really hard on defense as well. So it's not a, there's individuals that might say a team that takes a lot of threes or shoots quickly in the shot clock. We don't have a shot clock, but quickly in the possession is maybe less disciplined. But the discipline, and that's going to be an and one opportunity.
And what do we know about and one opportunities here in Blackhawk TV?
Well, they're brought to you by Packman's Concrete. Nick Pack at Packman's Concrete can be contacted at 612-804-5222 for all your concrete needs. You can also get a hold of him at packmansconcrete@gmail.com.
And speaking of Pac-Man's Concrete, coming through with the new T-shirts.
Yeah, we've got some merch.
I don't know if you can. I don't really want to model this, but I feel like since I'm the only one wearing it.
Yeah, we'll get a quick shot of Jeremy.
With Layman's catchphrase.
Need it. Got it.
That's right. So Nick sends us a picture and says, "Hey, I got some shirts for you."
Interestingly, as Kogan does what he does once again. Interestingly, I've said that phrase quite a few times, most of the time inadvertently, but the biggest, loudest one was in this gym against Prescott last year when the varsity knocked off the Cardinals on a buzzer beater three at the top of the key by one Keegan Offsey. Really, really fun experience.
It's Kogan's world.
So it's Kogan time. We have a pretty good relationship with Coach Johnson at Prescott. Do they have Kogan merch?
Look at this. Well,
on the way? I mean, is this? He's going to shoulder in, and he's going to miscommit a foul.
So what happened was he missed a shot. He didn't know how to react to that. And he's like, "I've never done this before."
Oh, his shoe was untied.
That's why he needed to stop the game.
Yeah.
That's probably why he missed. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a scouting report on him.
But that's the Coach Johnson way at Prescott. Is they kind of just maybe they come from. Is there a river near Prescott? Is there?
Well, the Mississippi.
So they just kind of appear and coach. Well, can you shoot the three? Okay. Can you? Okay. Can you handle a little bit?
The bonus points if you play baseball or softball.
And apparently the long hair thing's coming into play too, because in a couple of years it'll be Kogan and Wallen and hair.
Yep. Lots of it flowing.
Nice bounce pass. Good look there from Prescott. As they're going to build their lead to 16.
This team is impressive.
BW at one point, I believe, was up 12-9, and since then it's been a 21-2 run for the Cardinals as Hawks looking for a response.
If you're into big runs, especially ones where your team's getting run on. You should be a Timberwolves fan because they've given up some mighty runs. They're actually at around 500, but
yeah, they're a sneaky team in the West for sure.
it's playing tonight in Brooklyn.
That'll be a lot of star power in that gym.
No star bigger than Anthony Edwards.
Ant-Man, and Heimer's going to reach and get called for a
He's need a break.
reach. Yeah.
Just want to take a second.
And that is really only the third team foul for the Hawks. So as we approach the end of this first half, not looking like any of the BW players are going to be in foul trouble. Nice tough defense from Clausen as the block goes down, but once again the junior Ripley, junior to junior, block to Ripley for 2. And that one's going to go out of bounds. Evan Clausen, the freshman.
And Evan's got, I like what he's doing. He's getting to his strong side. He's lefty. He gets to this near side wing. He's attacking the hoop.
Wow. Another 3. Ian Leask joins the treble party as Prescott's lead is at 21.
But going back to Evan, what he's doing is what you want the kids to do. He lost the one. He didn't finish the one. But you can't teach. It's hard to teach kids to have that gear and to have that mentality.
Yep. Yeah, for those of you that have played basketball, it's obviously there's skill sets that you can work on and develop, but it's highly instinctual. And scoring, attacking the basket, knowing where to be is
right. Prescott fans got to see one of the best examples we've had in this conference for years, and Parker Nielsen do that.
Right.
His percentage around the basket was freakishly high.
Yep, he would use legal contact very, very effectively. Prescott's going to miss the first of 2, and Hare and Tall Paul are going to check back in.
You know, it helped Parker that he was really, really strong and had that attitude that he was going to do what he needed to do around the basket.
Yeah.
Speaking of doing things around the basket, Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, averaging 3.5 blocks.
But has not missed an at-the-rim shot yet this year.
Right.
Prescott scores again.
37-14, 23-point lead for the Cardinals as Hawks looking to stop the bleeding. They've got a minute left before absolute will stop. Got a quick post touch to Tall Paul. That's going to be another and one opportunity. 2 will go, and we'll get an and one opportunity presented by Packman's Concrete. You can contact Nick Pack for all your concrete needs at 612-804-5222 or packmansconcrete@gmail.com.
That was the need it.
Yeah.
On the back it says.
Got it.
Got it.
Free throw off to the
Big
right.
Hair.
Big Hair gets the board, and that's going to get knocked away. Try to keep that ball high when you get the offensive rebound is a key. 45 seconds to go. We'll see how the Hawks attack this possession. Take care with one hand at the top of the key.
Maybe he's a tight end.
Yeah, you never know. Ryan Viendal's going to go left. He's going to get it to Hare off the backboard, and Mr. Tyler Hare is going to go to the free throw line.
Tyler's only got to jump 12 inches to dunk.
Right. Yep, he's got length, he's got height. And the first one off to the right for Tyler. Second one no good, but Tall Paul comes out with it, but Kogan will get a held ball call. And that'll go to
Prescott.
21-point lead, just about 30 seconds to go. If you're a betting man, you put your money on Kogan to take the shot, but they're going to take a quick 3, and weird, it goes in. So that's, what are we talking, between 6 and 9 threes probably, or 7 to 10 in this half?
I bet you.
Literally?
Well, I think we probably are close to 10.
We'll give and go there, but that's going to go back to the Cardinals, and they're going to get another 2. free throws.
Good one.
As Ripley gets fouled. He's had a good first half as well under the basket, the junior. It'll be interesting to see how many of these Cardinals stay for the second half of this contest. Hawks down by 24. Ripley looking to make it up to 26. First one no good.
Looks like they have 10 players on the varsity roster that are not listed on the JV roster. So I would guess most of these guys are probably playing half number 2. That is not legal. He should have shot it from his knees.
Right. So Ripley misses the second free throw. Ends up about 20 feet away with the ball once again, and he gets up. We got 1.3 left. We're going to see a long heave from somebody. Heimer.
He's got to shoot it anyway.
He's not going to get that one off. And into the half, BW 16, Prescott 40. Cardinals with a significant lead at halftime here of this JV contest.
Yep, we're going to turn our mics off here, and we'll be back in 8 minutes for half number 2. All right, welcome back. Half number 2.
Prescott built a big lead in the last 2/3 of that first half. They're up 40-16. Hawks led early in kind of a slugfest defensive battle for the first 6 or so minutes, and then Prescott got real hot from 3, namely one Kyle Kogan, and it looks like he is going to play another half of basketball, as is Ripley, who had a real nice first half, and Schomer. So Prescott looking to pour it on, finish this thing. Hawks looking to battle back, and they've got the same starting 5: Clausen, Heimer, Wienendahl, Ferndenzer, and Guthrie.
Yeah, so this is their JV, and they're a formidable unit.
Right. Ferndenzer with a nice post move. He's going to go to the line for 2. So throughout the second half, we're going to talk a little bit about the varsity contest tonight. Prescott, after a down year last year, looking to reclaim their throne. Middle Border Conference that they have dominated for the better part of the last decade. They won 7 consecutive conference titles under Coach Johnson, who has one of the better winning percentages in the state as a head coach. And BW, led by Coach Scott Benoit, back after early in his career coaching here for a number of years, winning 7 conference titles himself in that time. And both teams undefeated. 1 win for BW as Evan Clausen with a quick lob and 2. So Hawks add 3 to their halftime lead, or halftime amount. They're at 19. But Coach Benoit went to luck with his team on Tuesday and took care of business by a large margin, 83-47. Prescott 2-0. They've won 2 non-conference games, high-scoring affairs, both of them 84-72 over New Richmond and 95-75 over Durand. So high scoring. When it comes to the pace of the game, as you look into the varsity game, you mentioned it earlier, but what's the big deal when it comes to the pace, of high school basketball, of all basketball, and possessions?
Well, I mean, at its simplest, following Prescott, and the simplest way to look at it is the more possessions that a game has, the more likely you are to get the more skilled basketball team be the winner.
Sure.
Right? And so Minnesota just passed a rule earlier this week that they're going to have a 35-second shot clock starting in the season after next. And kind of the opposition of that is you're not going to get upsets, because if a team that's not as
Guthrie for 2,
not as skilled in theory, is forced to continue to play offense, they can't just hold the ball with a lead.
Sure.
And so if you believe that you have a very, very skilled team and can play with pace very well, the more possessions that you have, the more likely you are to have more possessions go to your advantage than your opponents. Sometimes the strategy, it's not always like that. You could have a very skilled team, like Adam's Friendship back in the day, that would play 25 possession games.
Sure.
And go to state year after year after year.
Uh-oh.
Hey, there he is.
So I mentioned earlier, Coach Johnson of Prescott, a friend of Coach Nygaard's, and I've gotten to know him well over the last couple of years, and he's going to join us now. And him and Jeremy are going to have a conversation maybe about the season or how things are looking for Coach Johnson from Prescott.
We got to get his headset on first, make sure he can hear us. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, you got to get that real close to your mouth. It's not like coaching where you can just project.
I got a pretty loud mouth, so.
All right, well, Coach Johnson, welcome back to Baldwin Woodville High School.
Here I am.
Yeah, here you are.
Good seeing you guys.
Yeah, you too. So I got to ask first, the first thing I noticed when I walked into the school tonight, you have your assistants and you're all wearing white shoes.
Yeah, so we wanted to choose something different this year, and we're like, let's go all white. We actually have white quarter zips too coming, but they're not in yet.
Oh
so
boy.
We rocked the white quarter zips with their white shoes this year, something different. And
that's a departure.
I don't know. So last year we did cardinal shoes. The year before we did black shoes.
Yeah, you're a dark shoe guy.
Yeah. So, whatever. They're comfortable. That's all I care about. Honestly, I just cannot coach in dress shoes. I stopped doing that about 5-6 years ago.
That's all I ever coached, except for one day I wore Kobe's. Maybe that's the secret. That's why I didn't win enough games.
Oh, come on.
You should have told me.
You got to be comfortable.
Well, I mean, I wear dress shoes all day. You wear gym shoes all day. That's the difference. All right, so let's get over to the basketball side of things. Coming into the year, people that watch Prescott basketball would not be surprised if Jordan Malmoff scoring 20. Okay, wouldn't be surprised if Dallas Wallens getting his double-doubles. But here I am checking box scores, and I'm like, hey, who's this Stewart kid? Where did he come from? And how is he averaging 22 a game?
We were kind of joking as a coaching staff. People are going to start throwing rumors that he's a transfer from somewhere.
Well, I'm here. I'm going to let you dispel these rumors.
So people always want to tease us on that. But no, you want to talk about a kid that has worked on his game tremendously. I mean, in the weight room, in the gym, in his driveway when it's 30 degrees. I mean, the kid has put in so much time the last couple of years. And he's always been a talented kid, but he's always been kind of we just were worried about him mentally if he was going to be ready.
Okay.
Because last year on JV, he would just disappear and he'd show glimpses in practices, and then he'd appear. But I tell you what, this offseason, even going back to summer league, he just blossomed. It was kind of out of nowhere, and he just started putting things together. And he's even kind of shocked us his first 2 games because we had high expectations, but he came off the bench against New Richmond. And without him against New Richmond, we would not have beat them. And then we kind of were like, well, it's a no-brainer. He goes in the starting lineup, and then he drops 28 with 7 threes against Duran. So he's impressed us. He's impressed his teammates. But again, you're happy for kids like that because he's put so much time in to be where he's at right now. So it's great.
The one thing that I joked about, I don't know who I was talking to, but with the proximity that we have with our high school to our elementary school, we have a program that we have kids in their study hall. They can come over and they can help in the elementary school. It's called their TAP program. I thought maybe he was like when he was coming over in the study hall, and it might have been your prep, and then he was. But you might do that with all your guys.
No, don't get that rumor going.
Well, I'm here to let you dispel it.
No, that does not happen. You know what? It's a good idea. We might start pushing that. So.
Hey, well, I don't know why you wouldn't.
In all seriousness, though, when it comes to off-season, weight training, skill development, what are the opportunities that you as a coaching staff, you as the head coach, are able to offer specifically to your players? I mean, is it camps? Is it AAU programs? What are your kind of strategies for that?
To be 100% honest, we put a lot of faith in our kids doing what we guide them to do in the offseason on their own. I mean, we have a lot of open gyms. We have a lot of time where they come in. We give them the drills, we give them the things to work on, but it's up to them to really do it. And that's kind of what we've been so fortunate is we don't have to beg our kids to be in the gym. We don't have to push them to be in there because they just are going to do it. And we've been very fortunate. That's been that way for many years in Prescott, and obviously that's credit to a lot of the success we had. And but we do the summer league. We just got done before the season. We did a fall league in Woodbury, and then we have our own camp, and kids go to camp. But speaking of the 3 you mentioned with Dallas, Jordan, and Brandon are all AAU guys, and they probably played 50, 60 games this summer in AAU. So they're just always working on their game, and they just want to get better. And like again, it's great because we don't have to push them to want to do that. They do it on their own.
Right.
And you don't have all the time in the spring and the summer because you were one victory away from playing for the gold ball and the softball diamond. No, you were playing for the gold ball.
Yeah.
You won. You beat Peshtigo.
Yeah, we did what Baldwin did. We got as close as we can to get, and we lost the championship game.
Who was that against?
Oh my gosh, Dodgeville.
That was really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the screwy play a game in the morning, play the game at night.
Yeah.
And you guys didn't have the weather. We got the weather the next day.
Well, we you know, we were in an hour and a half delay, but we definitely.
Oh, yeah.
We sat through. We were supposed to start at 7. I think we ended up starting at 8:30. But yeah, that was an unbelievable season. That was. I don't think I could have had more fun my first year as a softball coach, and the girls we had was, man, going into it, not knowing what to expect. It was as fun as the expectations were met in that season, and it's pretty nice too when you get dealt a Bella Lenz to lead your squad, and she did, and like I said, it was those girls kind of took care of themselves, and I just try not to get in the way. And I'm serious when I say that. We had all the talent. I just try not to mess things up.
That's what you said too about Petey,
True,
Parker,
true,
Goffing. Speaking of those three, what are they all up to nowadays?
Yeah, well, Jacob's playing for a JUCO Mayville down in California. Out in California, he's doing really well. His game. He was home this summer and he's blossomed. You want to talk about a kid that is showing strides in 2 years out of high school. He has developed. He's more of a slasher at guard now.
Really?
Than he does in the post. He plays more of a wing in college, a 6'6" wing, and he can shoot it now. And I tell you what, I know this is going to sound pretty crazy, but I tell you, he's even getting talks about overseas and stuff like that. He's developed that much.
Wow.
So he right now is hoping to do what he's doing right now. He's starting out there. He's already had a really successful year, and hoping he's going to be a scholarship player, be picked up D2. His high hopes would be a small D1, but it's remarkable what he's come in 2 years. And then Park's down at West Texas A&M, and he's not getting a ton of minutes right now, but you're talking about one of the best programs in the nation. So he's being patient. He's understanding his role. Eventually, hopefully, his time comes. But he's doing great too. And like I said, two great players we've had in our program the last 50 years. And like I said, they're both doing great.
And Petey's playing baseball still?
Yep. So Pete's it's remarkable. Pete's already going to be a senior at NDSU. And another kid, speaking of playing after college, his hopes is to get a chance to play some type of level pro ball. If not drafted, but even if he had to go the independent route, and I think we all know he's very capable of that. And you're not going to ask a kid who's not going to work hard enough to get that opportunity.
So if he ends up doing the indie route, is he calling you for some advice? Where am I playing? Who do I want to know? Where did Nick build his legendary status on the baseball diamond?
We've sat. Actually, he was home last week, and I went over to his house to visit with him before Thanksgiving on Wednesday. And he's going to come home this weekend. He's going to be home a month, and he'll be helping us out with practice and stuff, and staying in shape doing that. But I told him whatever I can do to help him at the next level, I'll definitely do it, because we've talked about 1,000 times. That's an easy kid to root for, and I just think that he's going to get some type of opportunity. He's just too skilled not to.
Right.
When was the last time you watched his game winner?
It's probably been a month. It really has. It's been a month, but every once in a while, someone will send it, or I'll throw it on the computer or pull it up on the phone, and never ever going to get old. I know that.
Well, and
it's still crazy.
The thing that's really cool is obviously it was a big stage, which makes it that much better. But there was so many different cameras on him that you see cell phone cameras from over here, and there's 100 different angles of that shot, and they're all awesome. Like when he gave it up, still to this day, when he gave it up, I'm like, oh no. And then he gets it back. That was cool.
It's just like it seemed like everything just kind of fell into place there, and I said that was the best no timeout I've ever called in my life, because I remember it was going through my head and then it's like it was slow motion. Like, why would we call timeout when Pete has the ball? And then Pete gives the ball up, and I'm like, oh no. But Tayson he just knew.
Yep. To
give it right back to him, and obviously the rest is history. And like I said, you watch it, it's like that's Prescott. Wow, it's just unbelievable.
And that Tuma kid's having a pretty good post high school career.
Yeah. He's a player. So
Platteville.
Yep. Yeah, he was
good.
He was one of the best that I saw in high school.
I'd be remiss not to mention, you've lost really good players to graduation, things like that, but I don't know if anything more important than losing A.D. Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Do you like do air fives in the morning now, whereas before it would have been like a real high five with Matt. Like, how's that going?
We miss him big time in Prescott. There's no doubt about it. But he moved on to River Falls and he's liking it, and I still think eventually he's going to find his way back to Prescott, and I think it's going to be sooner or later, and that's just my opinion, but he just needs to change.
He finds his way back to Prescott every night.
School district
okay.
wise, so yeah, the school district. But he's doing great. We miss him. He was great at what he did, and our new AD, to tell you what, he's doing great too, and he's a great guy. So we just miss Matt. There's everything about him is great.
There's nobody, and not a slight to anybody, but there's nobody that I've ever met more accommodating. Like, how many times can someone say, "Can I get you anything? Do you need anything?" Before it's just like, "Would you stop asking? I'm an adult."
That's Matt.
Yep.
Matt's always worried about making people happy, and again, that's what kind of guy he is.
Yep. Yeah, but it was nice though, because I learned then by the third year, I'm just gonna ask him for popcorn, and then he came with like 10 bags of popcorn. Like, he just gets it done.
Above and beyond. How many times is that lot play gonna work? Tell us.
Well, that's number 2. You got a plan to stop that tonight?
Well, how we switch it, but let's hope that doesn't work as much as it's working against our JV. But it's a nice player. Our number 11 right there. He's a freshman. He's gonna be a nice little player.
Well, 12 had his way in the first half.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah,
is this him?
He's a good player. Kyle Kogan is a sophomore. He's, if you watch his game, you watch his shot, it's not like he's going to wow you on things he does. He just gets it done. He's a good little player. He's another gym rat boy. He just lives and breathes basketball, but he's a good little player.
He went on a run in the first half. The Schomer kid hit a bunch of threes.
Yep.
How many threes are you going to take tonight as a team?
Oh, my gosh. Well, it's 25 probably, 30. We shoot a lot of threes. There's no doubt about it. I don't think you need to scout us to understand that. We're trying to not, tell our kids we can't live and die by it, but then they go and they make how many. It's like, hey, I'm not going to tell them not to shoot a 3 when they're open.
Right.
We're not forcing it. Like Duran tried 3 different defenses against us, and we were just getting open looks. And like I said, I'm not telling kids not to shoot open threes. And every kid that steps on our floor can shoot outside.
Do you think it's changed? I mean, obviously when we played in high school, the 3-point line wasn't necessarily new, but teams weren't. You didn't turn on the TV and watch teams shoot tons and tons of threes.
Yeah. And
now, what they've done basically ever since people discovered that it's an effective way to score, is they back this 3-point line up. And you go home and turn on TNT or ESPN tonight, the 3-point line's 4 feet deeper, and these guys are shooting from 5 feet behind the line, and they're not missing more. And now kids are like, well, geez, it's not that hard of a shot, and everybody wants to do it. Because how much has that changed how high school works?
You're spot on. I think everyone wants to do it, and everyone works at it. I mean, that's just the big thing. I tell you what, Steph Curry, I think, is a big influence on why that is. You watch him play, and you watch those NBA players play, and you watch college play, how much they live and die from the outside. I think that's just what kids are watching, and kids want to be like these days. And but yeah, it's definitely, you mentioned back when we played, it wasn't nearly as big as it is now. It's crazy.
With Momlov, Jordan, watching them last year and the year before, because obviously as a freshman he had a huge impact with his range, right? He had a half against Somerset where he made 6,
all
right?
of the threes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so, when you have kind of a player like that who it's noticeable when you watch him that he might, he's probably the best player on the floor. How has he kind of developed his game? Because obviously he's a shooter and has some really nice guard skills, but what are some evolutions he's made?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because we've been pushing him now for 2 years, and he was only a freshman, sophomore. That if you want to become one of the elites, you need to start taking the ball to the rim. In the 2 games we played, that's what, and hopefully he does it tonight. That's his biggest difference, is he is taking the ball to the rim. We won't quite use he's the P.D. Brookshot yet, because those are big shoes to fill, but that's what he's added to his game, where he's sucking people up off his 3-point range, and then he breaks them down and drives past them to the hoop, and he's gotten so much stronger. I tell you what, he had a 2-handed dunk against Duran that it was a wow. I mean, he's that small, and he gets up, and I had people texting me and buddies texting me out there, they're like, whoa, Jordan Malmuth can dunk, and like it was, he almost cocked the back two-handed dunk against Durant. It was.
Wow.
But a kid, he's lived in the weight room. He's worked on his lower half and his upper half, and he can flat out get up. So it's been, his game is really becoming complete. And another thing too, he's okay sharing the ball. Like he knew last year he had to take all those shots. He had to score. Where this year, Durant ran a box of one against us to start the game, and he was fine. Kicking out to Dallas and kicking out to Brandon. And that's when Brandon went off Stewart and hit all the threes because he was wide open. So he's okay not scoring as long as we're scoring and we're winning. He doesn't care.
How many dunks did you have in high school?
I had 8 dunks, and I know that because I think that stat's important. So yeah, I did 8 dunks. So and kids always ask that. They're like, yeah, what do I? But yeah, I did. I had 8 dunks. I think I went home and I like chalked them down.
What was your? Where was your best one?
Oh, I think it was home versus Central. I actually got a T for hanging on the rim.
That's awesome.
And it was Mike DeWire gave me the T. The kid was underneath me, and I didn't want to drop, so I hung on it, and he gave me a T. I'll never forget it. I still give him T today when I see him. He remembers it. But
so was that like the Corey Brathall era?
Corey was
a little older.
Corey was, I was an 8th grader. Corey was a senior, so I never.
Okay.
Yeah. So but I remember watching him coming up.
He was
a player, and like Sean Tim, same way. Timmer was a senior when I was an 8th grader. Wait, no, Tim was a senior when I was a freshman.
Sean was a senior when I was a 7th grader. But I thought you were a senior when I was a freshman.
I thought Tim was a senior when I was a freshman. Maybe I was an 8th grader. I don't know. We're so old now; it doesn't matter.
It was a
long time.
It's like 25 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Before, and you didn't break any backboards. This is before breakaway rims.
Yeah, right. They didn't have a 3-point line, did they, when we played?
Well, that's what Coach Ashland always used to say when he coached. But I think he was serious. And I'm like, oh well, yeah, it's about that time, All right, well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get in that locker room and
you gotta
fire up.
Yeah, you gotta jack him up a little bit now.
Yeah.
Last year when you came here, we were limited with fans, right? I mean, it was the 4 per people. Could the Prescott travel at that point?
No, I don't think so. Not that I remember.
You know what? I think Prescott could come here, but we couldn't go there.
Yeah, I can't even remember. I remember the game. I remember how it had to finish, so you don't got to remind me about that.
You played like 7 games in 10 days.
Yep.
Because you were shut down like the previous 2 weeks.
Yep.
I just looked at that, like February 1st to February 13th, you guys played like 8 games. It's crazy.
And last year's team, record-wise, and we weren't the most talented team, but that team was hurt by not having practices. And we actually the other day we counted it. In a typical season, I think you're going to get roughly 45 to 50 practices maybe. Yep. That team practiced like 30. I think we counted like 30, 31 practices. So that team that needed that extra. And then you mentioned we were playing 7 out of 10 days, and that hurt that team. And I think obviously more practices we could have developed that team a little better, but. It's definitely has motivated us this year. I mean, our kids are not happy with how the year finished and how we played last year. And like I said, it's helped us in the offseason. So far, it's helped us so far this year.
So the 95 you put up Tuesday, you had a 90 last year? Was that the high?
Yep.
90 against Mondovi?
Yep, against Dovey.
And the highest you've had coaching was it the Ellsworth game where it was like one?
And Pete had 53.
And it was 120 something?
126, I think.
Because I watched, I'm scouting the game, and I think I said this to you too. There was like 40 some possessions where you guys turned the ball over.
Yeah.
Like 40 straight possessions that ended in a shot, and a lot of them ended in made shots.
Yeah.
Like that's unheard of.
Yeah, that was a crazy, crazy game. And you know what? I don't want to sound cockier. We run starters that whole game. I think we could have scored 140, 150. It was just one of those days. It was one of those days.
And Ellsworth broke 100.
Yeah, Ellsworth was upper 80s. So.
I thought they had more.
No, I think it was like 126 upper 80s. But yeah, Ellsworth that year was solid.
So
they were so good. They were so good that year.
Yeah, because they had you.
On the ropes, sectionals on the ropes.
And Richmond, they were winning at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really good team. That was a fun team to watch.
Yeah, they were good.
And then they get Prescott, and that's the draw. But I mean, when you think about games like that, and I think of the game against Somerset in the you hosted Somerset the regional final last year or 2 years ago.
Yep.
If Malmö doesn't have 18 in the first, like that game looks different.
Yeah.
'Cause Somerset played
Yeah.
phenomenal
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
Big players, big names, big games.
That's right. So I do need to go, fellas. I'd stay up here all night and talk to you.
Well, thank you for coming.
Someday when you retire, we'll make a spot.
Who knows? Who knows? All right, guys. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
a lot.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, so Baldwinville battled back a little bit in the second half, down 11 with Ferndenser at the line, looking to put some more dents into this Cardinal lead. Cardinals led by 26 at half, I believe, and obviously the Hawks had a better second half, and Elijah Heimer brings them into single digits. So here we go.
And I think one thing that's obvious is, and like Nick said, we don't want to live and die by the three. Well, in the first half, he rolls ankle there. The amount of threes that they made in the first half, they lived by the three.
Right.
And, you know, whether it's making shots or not getting those same looks, they scored 15 in the second half.
Right.
Right? And that's not necessarily dying by the three, but that's certainly a thing
Yeah, it's a huge drop-off.
where if you're not making baskets, you know, what are you going to do if the shot's not falling? And that's, you know, something that, you know, individuals have to really kind of figure that out for themselves.
Right.
Is it getting to the rack and watching a layup go in? Is it trying
That's
to draw
exactly
a foul? Is it watching, you know, becoming a different player where you're going to distribute, you know, you're going to start being a distributor and not a scorer?
Yeah, and if you listen to Coach Johnson was talking about Steph Curry. If you listen to Steph, even KD, LeBron, these guys, they're still going to tell you the best shot in basketball is an uncontested layup.
Right.
It's the highest efficient shot, bar none. And if you can get to the rim, whether it's through your offensive motion or whether it's through skill, and finish and see the ball go in the hoop, that's a really big deal. But like you said, if the offense is not oriented on that at all, if it's just oriented on the perimeter game, you can get yourself in tough situations. Obviously, Prescott's still holding on, just under 5 minutes to play. This is one of those fun JV games where you get to finish the game in front of a couple hundred people for these guys. But Kogan in and out. Heimer, a big rebound. He's had a good second half. He's going to bounce past to Johansson, who's going to go up. He's going to miss the two.
Oh, Guthrie.
Oh, a couple putback opportunities by Guthrie, no good.
He was up there, too.
He was. Ripley gets the board. We'll see how Prescott attacks this possession. 4:30 left.
Trying to take one.
Kogan tries to bank it in. And Ryan Wiedendahl, the guard for the Hawks, will bring it up. Nice anticipation there from 11. Real nice play. That's Nicholas Welter.
Sophomore.
Didn't see him in the...
Oh, yeah, I don't think he played in the first half.
He maybe was in the other gym. I don't think so, but he might have been.
Because he's not... He's not listed on the varsity roster. So
I think he might be Dane. I don't know. Because Coach Johnson mentioned him, that he was a freshman. So that might be Dane, number 11 from the C team. I don't know. But that was a real nice move. And so we got 4 minutes left, 9-point lead for the Cardinals. Kogan thought about it. He's going to take a step back three. That's short. That's going to stay with Prescott.
So one guy that, we talked about the studs from Prescott that they've had, and then you got to have the glue dudes, right? The Holte kid,
Mason Holte was a very good player
that Prescott had a couple years ago, when things weren't going right, or when things weren't going perfectly for Parker and Doffing. That was a kid that, and I mean Dylan and Jordan Malmov, and Holte was just able to, he started, right? But not necessarily someone that you game planned around, but a guy that did things that it was like, man,
Yeah, well, he was a sneaky scorer. He'd finish with 8 to 14 points with putbacks and cuts and things. But what he could really do is defend.
Yep.
He had one game where BW produced a real high-level player, Dylan Caro, who's playing at Ripon right now, Ripon College in Wisconsin. But there was a game where Dylan was either a junior, or yeah, he was a junior because we were coaching. And Holte checked him, you know, like, yeah, I'm going to guard you. And Dylan had a really, really hard time getting the ball. I mean, touching it. Like, Holte decided, and that was just his skill set. He was a freak athlete, and he was a team guy, which was really fun to watch. It'd be interesting to see who fills that role for Prescott this year. My suspicion is Benny Roll. He actually had a really nice first half in this gym last year, scoring. But he's a guy that, a real good athlete, real good teammate. And that's going to be a steal from Ryan Biendal, and it's 3-on-2. Johansson's going to stop the momentum, dish it to Ryan.
Heimer wants it. Ooh, he was open. He wanted it.
Heimer tries to get into Guthrie. He'll get it there. Guthrie to Biendal. Guthrie up and over.
So one thing that people that watch basketball, they see a guy that's behind another player jump up and get that rebound, and they want over the back called.
Right.
Which is not a thing. Right.
That is no longer, it was at one point a violation. It is now most often called a push.
Yep.
And that is, you know, as it reads, that is when the opposite player pushes to get the opposite rebound, right? But if an opposite player is athletic enough to go up and over legally, that is a legal move, and I think it's a good thing. I always personally thought over the back calls were
penalizing someone more athletic.
Right.
The thing that officials look for is displacement.
Right.
Right. If you displace the player, there's going to be a foul. If you're simply more athletic and you jump higher and you can rebound over somebody, it's just legal basketball.
Right.
A decent student section here.
Yep,
for the
we've got this is what I was talking about earlier. For those joining us, just joining us, you know, thanks for joining. And earlier in the stream, we were talking about how much fun, you know, full attendance high school basketball is, and it looks like tonight's going to be one where a lot of people are on their feet, a lot of students are doing their chants, and hopefully it gets rowdy. Hopefully it's a close game, a lot of fun.
So for the BW students, we have construction theme. For the Prescott students, looks like we got
jerseys.
Jersey theme. Someone's wearing a Jaguars jersey, which is awesome.
Oh yeah. Who is that? Who's 85?
You know, that's a great question.
It should be a 16. Should be a 1-6. And we've got some varsity players meandered into the gym as they're about to run out in here in a little under 3 minutes. Reese Guthrie, strong move. That's going to roll out to the left, and he's going to commit a foul. And that'll result in 1-1 for the Cardinals on the other end.
So the current 85, it's a Tim Tebow jersey, which was the highest selling jersey on Fanatics when he signed.
Right. Yep, Tim Tebow, man. So we are a couple minutes away from warm-ups between the Prescott Cardinals, who come into this game 2-0 in non-conference, and the BW Blackhawks here at BWHS in Baldwin. BW 1-0. They won over Luck earlier this week. Prescott with wins over Durand and Richmond, both high-scoring affairs. Leading the scoring for Prescott this year is one Jordan Malmloff, junior. Second, Brandon Stewart, a junior. And Aiden Russell, a senior, with 11 points a game. Also in that top three. Rebounding for the Cardinals, Benny Roll, 7.5 a game. And Dallas Wallen, the sophomore, with 5.5. And dishing it out for the Cardinals, Jordan Malmloff averaging just under 5 assists, and Benny Roll with 3.5.
And I think that you didn't even mention the Severson kid. I think he had almost 20 the other night. I mean, what Prescott does have is a number of guys that can score on any given night, and I think that we'll obviously talk about that more as this varsity game progresses. I will say too, when the JV game's done, we're gonna cut the JV feed, and then the varsity feed will be separate. So for those of you watching this feed, looking for the varsity feed, you'll go back to the channel and find that other link, and it might show up an Ellsworth Panther logo, and I'm not sure. YouTube was being kind of silly this morning, but it's definitely there, and that's where we'll have the varsity game.
So Prescott trying to close out this JV matchup. 1:38 left in the second half, up 11, and they're going to go to the line for 2 free throws.
What you'd like to see, you know, it would have been pretty easy to kind of fold up the tent at halftime, down 26 or whatever it was, 40-14, right?
Right.
But instead, we come out and we've outscored them 34-19.
Sure.
And that's, I don't think that anybody's really into moral victories, but as a coach, you feel good. Not necessarily about the loss, but you feel good knowing that your guys aren't programmed to quit.
Right.
Right. And that's something that if you are like that, it's really hard to change. If you're not like that, you can count on guys answering the bell, and I think that's definitely a positive coming out of tonight for the Blackhawks.
Right. Absolutely. And Prescott obviously had a real nice three-point showing in that first half. Johansson no good on the two. And names like Kyle Kogan and Mason Schomer are ones that we'll probably hear going forward on the varsity floor for the Cardinals as Brady Block hits the three. 64-48 now with a minute left. But Prescott did enough tonight in this JV matchup, and we talked to Coach Johnson a little bit ago, and he, as his JV did, plans on kind of letting his boys let it fly tonight if it's there, right? If the three-pointer is open, if it's a good shot, it's going to go, and they've done a real nice job this season so far making that shot. Obviously scoring 94 and 85 points respectively in their first two contests. So it'll be interesting to see Coach Benoit's tough defense versus the high-flying Cardinals tonight in probably 15-20 minutes here.
If I'd have given you the over/under on Nick Johnson dunks at 7.5 in high school,
I actually would have taken the under.
I would have too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
8, that's a great. I mean, eight's impressive, and then to go on and be a Hall of Fame baseball player at Ripon and play professionally.
Right. Yeah. One of my favorite questions I've ever asked in an interview was last year. As Kogan gets another steal. Was Coach Johnson versus his, one of the most famous, if not the most famous athlete in Prescott history, Petey Brookshaw. Coach Johnson, a very good pitcher.
Yep.
Petey batted over 500 as a junior and a senior. If it's full count, bases loaded, what pitcher you throwing? And I can't remember his answer, which bugs me.
We can find it.
I think he might have said throw out. I think you said the one he doesn't hit.
Yeah, well, probably. Maybe that might have been his answer.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to know Coach Johnson. He's a class act. When you and myself were coaching, he was 6-0 against us, and every time he was always willing to talk basketball, talk.
And part of that might have been that he was 6-0 against us.
Sure, yeah, you always like a guy. That's it for the JV game, folks. 63-50 Prescott over BW, and we are going to go on a break here as the varsity teams get warmed up.
Yeah, so we're cut this feed, and we will be back probably about 5 minutes with the other feed.